Her story created a national firestorm. Desiree Jennings is the pretty ambassador for the Washington Redskins cheerleading squad who claims she developed a rare neurological disorder called dystonia after receiving a seasonal flu shot, causing dramatic spasms and slurred speech.
I used to be able to go sideways, but nothing goes now, too.
So you used to be able to go sideways?
Yeah.
What made the story so startling is that her symptoms seemed to disappear when she walked backwards or ran.
Yeah, I can talk now.
Back in October, Desiree and her husband told me they worried they'd never find a cure. But look at Desiree now. We found her walking normally, playing with her dogs, going shopping, even getting behind the wheel of a car and driving. Hard to believe the woman we've been discreetly observing over the last few weeks is the same woman we met during the height of the flu shot scare. So we wanted to ask her about her remarkable improvement. We've been trying to reach you and you have not been returning our phone calls.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's going on? It looks like you've made a complete recovery.
Well, I wouldn't say complete recovery. I still have a lot of cognitive issues.
So what happened? Did Desiree Jennings really suffer a 1 in a million reaction to the seasonal flu shot, as she says? Or is it all some kind of elaborate hoax? Desiree finds the idea that her illness is all in her head ridiculous.
Some people think it was psychogenic. Some people might even think it's a hoax.
I mean, people are free to believe whatever they want, but, you know, I mean, clearly what I've been going through, I know it's not psychogenic and it's not a hoax.
By now, you may have noticed something that surprised us. Desiree is now speaking with a foreign accent she never had before.
I'm from Ohio. I should not be talking like this.
Sounds like you have an Australian accent.
Yeah, I've heard Australian, British, but, you know, it just essentially comes down to the inability to pronounce words. This is what happened to me.
We need to point out one other thing. When we first saw Desiree in this shopping center parking lot, she seemed to be walking normally. But as she left to get into her car, she was walking sideways. She says it was because of the dystonia.
All right, don't catch me driving because I don't think I'm supposed to be driving.
This local woman's story stunned the nation. Seizures, shakes, all caused by her seasonal flu shot. It is a story you saw first on Fox 5. A Redskins cheerleader ambassador left disabled, suffering dozens of seizures every day, and that was before she took a turn for the worse.
But a controversial doctor in North Carolina is turning her life around. Fox 5's Claudia Coffey takes us along the road to recovery.
All right, the Desiree Jennings Psyop. Guys, this cannot be emphasized enough, all right, and reiterated how absolutely huge this story was at the time when this came about. And make no mistake about it, 100% government psyop to, number one, reinforce and legitimize the flu shot vaccine, while simultaneously, right, of course, discredit and demonize anti-vaxxers. Because how this played out is they had their media come in and, you know, quote unquote, expose her, right? So they had Inside Edition come in and be the saviors and catch her, thus exposing her as faking and hoaxing this. Okay, so they try to make people think that she alone was hoaxing this, when the reality is, of course, the media was in on it from beginning to end, involved with her in hoaxing this whole narrative. Okay, so I remember this, you know, a lot of people fell for it, myself included. I remember thinking, wow, that sucks, you know, and a lot of people felt like that, especially, of course, anti-vaxxers, and they used it as fuel for their cause. So what happened was, you know, it made people think like, hey, it made even pro-vaxxers at the time, you know, question the legitimacy of the flu shot. They were scared. They even called this the flu shot scare. Okay, think about it. This was called the flu shot scare. This was a powerful psychological tactic played here. And so it made people question that, okay, and the anti-vaxxers were all cheering at the time. But what happens when this all crumbles? And there it is. It all crumbles, and then the people who, you know, question this at all, even who believe in vaccines, they were like, oh, how could I ever question this? Of course they're legitimate. Of course flu shots are legitimate. Of course these people are crazy. And of course the anti-vaxxers came out of this looking like idiots and nutballs. There you have it. So years later, we can now see what this was exactly all about. And it's only years later now we figure out what this psyop was really about. So just keep that in mind here moving forward.
Desiree Jennings was told by some doctors that she would never recover, that the damage she suffered from a flu shot was irreversible. But over the last month, she has gone from being on death's door to seeing that her old life is just within reach. Desiree Jennings never lost hope that this day would finally come.
It feels great to be able to smile again.
The Ashburn, Virginia native is not only able to smile, but she can walk again. These simple steps seemed impossible nearly a month ago when we first...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, right here is what you call photo op. Okay? Photo op, aka scripted bullshit for the camera. Okay? All they did here was say, oh yeah, Buttar, can you guys walk down and, pretend to be explaining something to her. Okay, great. Thanks, Buttar. I mean, if you think this guy is actually, actually walking down the hall with her and explaining something to her, yeah, I have a bridge to sell you, real estate to sell you on Mars. All right, let's continue on.
Introduced you to the Redskins cheerleader ambassador.
Symptoms will get worse.
Just days after getting the seasonal flu shot, her health spiraled out of control. She had difficulties walking, talking, and suffered several seizures a day. Johns Hopkins and Fairfax Inova diagnosed her with a rare reaction to the flu shot that resulted in dystonia, a rare neurological disorder. But she still had some control. For instance, she could run but not walk forward, even ran a marathon. But days after she crossed the finish line, her health took a turn for the worse.
I didn't know what was in her. All I knew was whatever's in her shouldn't be in her.
Actress Jenny McCarthy's found...
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Here's Jenny McCarthy throwing up devil horns with Jim Carrey. You just cannot make this crap up, man. Unbelievable.
Called Generation Rescue, which educates people about ways to reverse autism and concerns over vaccine safety,
of
put
course,
Desiree in touch...
part of the whole freaking hoax and psyop here.
...with Dr. Buttar outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. He's a controversial physician who practices preventative medicine. When Desiree arrived here more than 3 weeks ago, she was in acute respiratory distress. She could barely breathe, and there were concerns that she just wouldn't make it.
Her face was starting to get that bluish, purplish tint because she couldn't get air.
Do you understand that every word that's coming out of his mouth right now is a total fucking lie? Every word means nothing because it was all staged. There was no reaction to the flu shot. There was no curing of her. Do you understand? This guy's totally busted. He's a fraud.
Twice I looked at my head nurse like, I think we got to call EMS.
24 to 48 hours later, Desiree was stable. And when we...
1st September, I knew my health was getting very bad, and I did...
Unbelievable. Look at this.
Shot.
My diagnosis of her is acute viral post-immunization encephalopathy and secondary mercury toxicity, which we've just established as of Friday.
And that's a result of the flu shot?
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
She was showing symptoms from a number of different conditions.
Wow, let's hear that again.
Friday.
And that's a result of the flu shot?
Absolutely.
Without a doubt?
Without a doubt.
He says she was showing...
Wow, people. Wow. There's your truther doctor, people. There he is. There he is.
Symptoms from a number...
System. We supported her system, reduced inflammation, and then we started treating the injury by giving her certain nutrients that the brain needed that helped to repair the neuroreceptors.
Wow, check this out.
Synthetic amino acids and nutrients. Dr. Buttar believes with rest and continued treatment, Desiree will fully recover.
Well, hope so, but that's why.
Desiree has received a...
Look at, can you guys walk up all the way to the camera and then stop right in front? And yeah, pretend to have your fake conversation because we're gonna show a little of the audio. So just pretend to have this conversation. Unbelievable.
That's why.
Desiree has received attention and support from across the world since we first brought you her story. But with that has come naysayers, many who say this was an act. What do you say to that when people say, oh, you're making this up?
How can you say it's a hoax unless you've talked to me and you've actually examined me and see the pain and suffering I've gone through? Not only that, but why would anyone, especially me, want to create a hoax like this?
Now she feels like...
I don't know. How many shekels did you get? This thing is so diabolical, man.
Calling to do consent and encourage people to be educated about.
Since 1999, the North Carolina Medical Board has made multiple unsuccessful attempts to restrict Dr. Buttar's license. Most recently in 2007.
Okay, yeah, he's this controversial, incompetent doctor in this narrative who claims that he, cured her flu shot reaction, even though there was no flu shot reaction. Okay, because it's all a part of the scripted government narrative of this psyop, of which he is a part of. 100% fraud, busted, and guys, this is why you need to have your eyes opened and discernment sharpened, as sharp as ever, because he is not the only one, okay? They're employing these so-called truth tellers with credentials right now surrounding this scamdemic, okay, for various agendas. And this is what we're trying to warn about. And so, again, he is not the only one. Have your eyes opened.
For a first-hand look at what her life has become.
Hey, now walk it out. 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 DJ Montana Trap. Walk it out. DJ on. Southside walk it out. We at it again, baby. Northside walk it out. Here we go. Now walk it out. 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 Now Westside walk it out. Southside walk it out. Eastside walk it out.
Started with me not being able to eat without passing out.
Desiree can run just fine. It's only when she stops. Now you can talk.
Yeah, it's weird. It fixes as soon as I start running.
I mean, you sound.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
They walk it on the floor, right? Goose, double shots, it'll let your body go. My niggas on my side, haters hate, think it's funny. I walked it on these niggas, now I'm getting to the money. Froze on them hoes, I'm not talking.
And that's a result of the flu shot.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
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 The fool hath said in his heart, There is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good.